Good morning and welcome back to Storytime with Mrs. Haurigi. I'm Mrs. Haurigi. The book we will be reading today is Raggedy Ann and Andy, and the Nice Police Officer. It was a lovely day in June. The birds were singing, the bees were buzzing, and the air was filled with the perfume of flowers. Raggedy Andy took Raggedy Ann's hand, and they set off into the deep woods in search of adventure. They found a cool green path that they had never seen before, and they soon arrived in a clearing. "Boo-hoo, boo-hoo! Listen," said Raggedy Andy. "Someone is crying." He pointed to a pretty little house with a red roof and flowers growing in the yard. A nice-looking policeman sat on the front steps, sobbing into his hands. Raggedy Ann said, "Let's see if we can help." When the policeman saw the two rag dolls, he sobbed louder than ever. "Mercy me," Raggedy Ann said. "Why are you crying so, Mr. Police Officer?" "Oh, it is too sad," he replied. "I found a note on my front door that said, 'Please arrest Mr. Hooly-Gooly.' I have never arrested anyone before." "Perhaps someone is angry with Mr. Hooly-Gooly and would like to get him into trouble," Raggedy Ann mused. "Maybe he hasn't done anything wrong." "This is true," the police officer said. A smile came to his face as Raggedy Ann dried the last of his tears. "Let's go see Mr. Hooly-Gooly," she suggested. When they reached the front steps of the Hooly-Gooly house, the policeman caught Raggedy Ann's arm. "I don't want to arrest Mr. Hooly-Gooly today," he pleaded. "Let's go back to my house." "I'll knock on the door," said Raggedy Andy. He wiggled his shoe-button eyes and knocked once, twice, then a third time. "Who's there?" called Mr. Hooly-Gooly. "You see, now you have done it," the policeman wailed. He would have run home if Raggedy Ann had not held onto his coattails. "This nice police officer is here to arrest you," explained Raggedy Andy. "Maybe you'd better come in," Mr. Hooly-Gooly said politely. Raggedy Ann liked the Hooly-Goolies the minute she saw them. They had cheery smiles and merry twinkles in their eyes. After they all finished a snack of cream puffs and lemonade, Mr. Hooly-Gooly said, "Now, why were you going to arrest me?" Before the police officer could start crying again, Raggedy Andy explained about the note. "We know who pinned the note to the door," Mrs. Hooly-Gooly said quickly. "A long time ago, Mr. Hooly-Gooly met a little man who followed him home from the forest, and we think he wants our magic cooking stick. It burns in the fireplace, but it never burns up, and it always cooks our food just right. The little man is a magician, and he wants all the magical things in the deep, deep woods." "Let's go to the magician's house and tell him he can't behave that way," Raggedy Andy suggested. Mr. Hooly-Gooly said, "What a good idea." They left the Hooly-Gooly's house with the nice police officer who would rather have stayed home and helped Mr. Hooly-Gooly cook dinner. Raggedy Ann stayed with Mr. Hooly-Gooly, for she was very curious about the magic cooking stick. At the magician's house, Raggedy Andy climbed up on the roof and disappeared down the chimney. He planned to unlock the door from the inside. When he didn't reappear, Mr. Hooly-Gooly knocked on the door. "Run home to your mama," called the magician. "I'm holding your friend prisoner." We have come to arrest you," said the nice police officer bravely. Suddenly, the door opened and two pancakes rolled out and landed in front of Mr. Hooly-Gooly and the policeman. Now they had no idea that these were magic pancakes. For just a moment, they forgot all about their friend Raggedy Andy. "It is just dandy to have a pancake roll right into our laps," said the nice police officer. "It surely is," said Mr. Hooly-Gooly as he took a bite of his pancake. As soon as Mr. Hooly-Gooly and the policeman bit into their pancakes, they turned into little squealy pigs and ran right home to Mrs. Hooly-Gooly. Raggedy Ann and Mrs. Hooly-Gooly were making lovely donuts and cream pies when two little squealy pigs ran into the house. The pigs were dressed in Mr. Hooly-Gooly's and police officer's clothes. "Mercy me," said Mrs. Hooly-Gooly, who was about to shoo the pigs outside with her broom. "Stop, Mrs. Hooly-Gooly," cried Raggedy Ann. "Look at their clothes. That's Mr. Hooly-Gooly and the police officer." Raggedy Ann quickly closed the door. She saw a piece of pancake sliding out of one of Pig's pockets. After breaking the pancake into tiny pieces, Raggedy Ann sprinkled it on top of a whipped cream pie. She opened the front door and put the delicious-looking pie on the step. Then she closed the door again. In just a minute, Raggedy Ann opened the door and a third little pig ran inside the house dressed in the magician's clothes. "There," she said. Raggedy Ann, "I knew the magician would be lurking outside. I gave him some of his own medicine." "But how do we change them back?" said Mrs. Hooly-Gooly. "I don't like to have pigs in my parlor, even if one of them is my husband, and I'm sure they don't enjoy being pigs." "If we go to the magician's house, we can hunt through his magic books and find out how to change them back," Raggedy Ann replied. "Do you want to come with us?" she asked the pigs. All three pigs squealed so loudly that Mrs. Hooly-Gooly held her hands over her ears. Raggedy Ann locked the magician pig in the cellar. Then she and Mrs. Hooly-Gooly led the other two pigs to the magician's house. The magician had left Raggedy Andy hanging on a hook by the fireplace. This didn't hurt his soft rag body, but he wished he could help his friends. While Raggedy Ann set him loose, Mrs. Hooly-Gooly found the magician's red book on the kitchen table. She and Raggedy Ann read a magic spell from the book and changed the police officer and Mr. Hooly-Gooly back into themselves. "My goodness," said Mr. Hooly-Gooly, "I will never eat another pancake that appears out of nowhere." The friends brought the squealing magician pig to jail. Then Raggedy Ann said the spell that changed him back into a magician. "You'll stay here until you say you're sorry," Raggedy Andy told the magician. "Our friend the police officer will stop by after dinner and look in on you." Then Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy, the Hooly-Goolies, and the nice police officer left the jail and went back to the house where they cooked a delicious turkey dinner with the magic cooking stick. After dinner, Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy went with the police officer to jail, where they found the magician looking very sad. "I'm sorry," he said. "I used to be a great grocer until I found the magic book. Then I became very greedy and wanted everything that was magic. Now I just want to have friends again." Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy looked at each other, and their shoe-button eyes twinkled with happiness. "We are very glad," Raggedy Ann said, "for there is nothing that brings such happiness as friendship. We will let you go home and keep the magic book as long as you wish for lovely things for others. That way, what better way to make new friends?" The magician promised he would, and the nice police officer let him out of jail. They all said good night, and the two rag dolls went home to their friends in the nursery. Thank you so much for joining me in reading this book. Please like this video and subscribe below. I hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye.